everybody, I'm Tom Vasel. Welcome to another shelf review in the Dice Tower Library as we take a look at each shelf, shelf by shelf. On this rack, rack 12, we're on shelf 12E, and these are basically, so if you watch the library, if you've been watching the overviews, racks 1 through 4 all have my big square boxes. I call them the Ticket to Ride size boxes. But you know, those shelves filled up, but I have more. So this just happened to be a shelf where more of those size boxes got put, with I think one exception here, but the rest of these are those square boxes. So let's take a look. First we have Iwari, which is a reprint of, China was one of the games that it's a reprint of. I have not played this particular version, but I played the original game, very abstract. It's fine. I don't love it, but I don't dislike it, but I will say this has really great production. Then we have Rescue Polar Bears. I like Rescue Polar Bears. It's fun. The theme is cute, although a little, discouraging if you think about it, because you're letting polar bears get, drown, I guess. I'm trying not to. You're trying to rescue them in this cooperative, fun game. Nevada City is a big, grandiose Old West game where it's not a shoot 'em out game. You're just building an old Western town and trying to get, the resources to do that. It's probably a little more overwrought than it needs to be, a few more pieces, and the component quality is not great, but the game itself is pretty solid. Roll for Adventures next. Unfortunately, this one did not take off very well for Cosmos. This is a cooperative game in which you're rolling dice and placing dice around a board to help fight monsters and things. I think it works well, which is why it's here. Then we have 2 of the Valeria games. These are actually, I think, my 2 favorite of the Valeria games. Shadow Kingdoms of Valeria, and then the Margraves of Valeria. Now, Shadow Kingdoms is my favorite by far. In this one, you are drafting dice and then using these dice as basically troops that you'll be sending off to fight. You are bad guys fighting against the forces of good, I suppose. And I just like drafting dice and utilizing them in different ways. Margraves is more of a worker movement. You have a Margrave that you're moving around a board and then getting resources and turning them in. It's a pretty basic game in many ways, but I like it. And I do like the Valeria theme that they have in their games. Fuji Koro is a pretty terrible game, actually. Unfortunately, it's also beautiful. It's a cooperative kind of dungeon search game. You're going inside essentially some sort of volcano and or something that's on fire, and searching for stuff. And it uses some really neat ideas. You're building your weapons out of cubes like Minecraft, although that's not as cool as it sounds. And then you run into dragons and run from them. And it's the idea of a dungeon crawl set in an Asian setting is really neat. It just isn't fully realized. I think the rules are clunky, but man, the production's nice, so it's on the shelf for now. Then we have Tammany Hall. Tammany Hall is a very mean back and forth game. I really like this one. It's about, New York back at the turn of the century with Boss Tweed. And don't play this game if you want to be great friends with everyone at the table, but if you all can handle that sort of thing, it's one of my favorite games in that genre. Eminent Domain. Man, I feel like we saw this on another shelf somewhere. Maybe we have 2 copies. That's what I've heard. So let's just pretend it's not there, but it's a good game. Then we have 2 copies of Aeon's End. Now, Aeon's End, I don't want to put too many copies of Aeon's End in the library. We could have a whole shelf full of it. I think most people would be satisfied with 2. This deck builder, which is not... This one's kind of sinking for me. I just don't like it. It feels more procedural than anything else when playing it. But I get why people do like it, and that's why I have it in the library. And I don't know, there's just something about it that's not meshing with me, but I do realize I'm a minority there. Then Sidereal Confluence. Now this one actually gets played at our conventions because it's a convention game. You can go up to, I think, to 7 players, maybe 8, I don't remember. And you're each a different alien trying to come to Sidereal Confluence. You each have different special abilities. It's essentially a big negotiation Euro game, and I really like it. I think it's fantastic. And it probably would be my favorite on this shelf, except I think I'm going to go with Tammany Hall. Tammany Hall, just a great game that gets better for me each time I play it. And that's another shelf, folks. Tell me what your favorite is in the comments below. Until next time, I'm Tom Vasel, and you've been watching another shelf in the Dice Tower library.